Picture this. You rise in the morning, the sun barely breaking through your curtains, and as you swing your legs out of bed, something feels terribly wrong. Your thighs don't respond the way they used to. The strength you counted on for decades is no longer there. When you stand, your knees quiver. You try to walk toward the bathroom, but your calves feel hollow, almost as if someone stole the muscle from them overnight. For many seniors, this shocking experience is the first real sign of muscle loss, and it comes without warning. One day you can move easily, the next day your body feels fragile. Now here's the frightening part. This decline often has less to do with old age than most people think. Yes, it's true that as we age, our bodies naturally lose muscle mass, something called sarcopenia. After age 60, most people lose around 3 to 8% of muscle every decade, even if they are otherwise healthy. But what most seniors don't know is that the speed of this decline is not fixed. It can accelerate dramatically because of small, repeated habits performed right before bed. Habits so simple they almost seem harmless, but inside your body they flip powerful biochemical switches that determine whether your muscles grow stronger or weaker while you sleep. As a neurologist who has spent years caring for older adults, I've seen this pattern over and over again. One of my patients, Mr. Henry, age 72, came to me after suffering a near fall in the middle of the night. He had gotten up to use the bathroom and nearly collapsed because his legs couldn't support him. He told me, "Doctor, I don't understand. I've always stayed active. I take walks, I garden. Why am I suddenly so weak?" When we looked closely at his lifestyle, the answer was surprising. It wasn't a lack of exercise. It wasn't even a poor diet overall. It was a small routine he did every night, one that was quietly eroding his muscle strength. You see, the body does most of its repair and rebuilding during deep sleep. Muscles are no exception. At night, your body releases growth hormone, repairs tiny tears in muscle fibers, and replenishes energy stores so you can move with strength the next day. But when certain habits interfere, whether it's a late-night snack, a glass of alcohol sitting still for hours before bed, or even what you drink right before sleep, the body never gets the chance to complete this repair cycle. Instead of restoring strength, your muscles are forced into decline night after night. This is why some seniors wake up weaker without realizing that their evening rituals are quietly working against them. In fact, research shows that something as simple as eating the wrong food too close to bedtime can interfere with protein synthesis, the very process by which your body maintains muscle. Add to that the natural slowing of metabolism with age, and you can see why seniors are at such high risk of losing muscle faster than they should. Mr. Henry's case was not unique. Another patient, Mrs. Lawson, age 68, came in complaining of nightly leg cramps and morning stiffness. She thought it was simply arthritis, but when we examined her diet and evening schedule, we found a pattern: heavy late dinners followed by hours of sitting in front of the television and then going straight to bed. Over time, this routine left her muscles short on oxygen, poorly repaired, and unable to recover fully. It wasn't arthritis alone, it was her nighttime lifestyle robbing her strength. Before we dive deeper, let me pause for an important message. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. Your feedback helps us reach more seniors with the information they desperately need. Now here's what's truly important. Aging doesn't have to mean helplessness. The habits you practice in the final hours of your day determine whether you wake up stronger or weaker. And tonight, when you get ready for bed, you need to know which routines to avoid at all costs. Because the truth is, muscle decline doesn't start when you stop moving. It begins with what you do in the quiet hours before you sleep. And the first hidden danger may shock you. It isn't smoking, it isn't drinking soda, and it isn't lack of exercise. The very first trap that steals muscle strength from seniors is something far more ordinary: the late-night meal. Let's talk about why eating before bed could be silently draining your muscles. Think about the last time you went to bed on a full stomach. Maybe it was a late dinner, or maybe you grabbed a snack because you didn't want to feel hungry during the night. For many seniors, this seems like a harmless choice. After all, you're just making sure you won't wake up at 2 a.m. with your stomach growling. But what if I told you that eating too close to bedtime quietly sabotages one of the most important systems your body has for preserving strength: protein synthesis? Let's begin with a fact every senior should know. After the age of 60, the body's ability to process protein declines. Your digestive system slows down, muscle tissue becomes less responsive to amino acids, and the hormonal signals that normally tell your body to build muscle start to fade. This is why nutrition becomes even more critical as you age. You may eat the same amount of protein you did in your 40s, but your muscles no longer respond in the same way. It's like shouting instructions into a room where no one is listening. Now here's where the problem gets worse. When you eat late at night, especially a heavy meal, your body prioritizes digestion over repair. Instead of focusing energy on muscle recovery, your body diverts blood flow to your stomach and intestines to handle the food. Growth hormone, which normally surges during the first few hours of deep sleep, is blunted. Protein synthesis, the very process needed to maintain and rebuild muscle, is interrupted. By the time your body finishes digesting, the critical window for repair has already passed. I recall one of my patients, Mr. Caldwell, age 69. He was a retired teacher who prided himself on staying active. He walked daily, did light stretching, and ate what he believed was a balanced diet. But he was frustrated because no matter what he did, his legs felt weaker each morning. When we discussed his routine, I discovered he had a long-standing habit: dinner at 9 p.m., often followed by dessert, and then bed by 10:30. To him, this was normal. "I've done this for years, doctor, and it never bothered me before." But his body had changed. What once seemed harmless was now silently draining his muscle reserves. Once he shifted his last meal to earlier in the evening, the difference was remarkable. Within a month, he reported waking up with more energy, less stiffness, and greater stability in his legs. The danger isn't just physical weakness. Studies show that late-night eating increases insulin resistance, raises nighttime blood sugar, and even worsens fat storage. For seniors, this creates a dangerous cycle: weaker muscles, more belly fat, higher risk of diabetes, and poorer sleep quality. All of these accelerate aging far faster than most realize. What about the types of food that matters too? Eating a bowl of ice cream, a slice of cake, or even a so-called healthy fruit smoothie before bed causes a sharp rise in blood sugar. This forces your body to release insulin, which interferes with the release of growth hormone. Without growth hormone, muscles don't repair effectively. Over time, night after night, the damage accumulates until one day you realize your legs feel weaker, your grip is softer, and your balance is not what it used to be. Let me share another story. Mrs. Turner, 74, came to me because she was terrified of falling. She noticed her muscles didn't wake up in the mornings the way they once did. After some investigation, we learned she was eating large bowls of pasta late at night, sometimes as late as 11 p.m., because she said it helped her fall asleep. But instead of restoring her, those late-night meals were robbing her strength. After adjusting her routine, shifting dinner earlier, and keeping it lighter, she not only regained some muscle tone but also slept more soundly. She told me, "Doctor, I feel like my legs are mine again." So let me ask you a question. How many times in the past week have you eaten within 2 hours of going to bed? If the answer is often, you may be unintentionally setting yourself up for faster muscle decline. It's not about never eating again, it's about timing and choice. If you must have something, make it small, protein-rich, and paired with a little healthy fat. But never go to bed with a heavy meal weighing you down. Because if the late-night meal trap surprised you, wait until you hear what happens when seniors reach for something even more deceptive: a sugary snack before bed. Now let's talk about one of the most dangerous nighttime habits for seniors: reaching for something sweet before bed. It could be a cookie, a piece of chocolate, a slice of cake, or even a healthy piece of fruit. At first glance, this seems innocent enough. After all, sugar gives a quick boost of comfort and satisfaction, and many seniors believe it helps them relax before drifting off to sleep. But here's the hidden truth. Those sugary snacks don't just affect your waistline. They directly interfere with the delicate hormonal balance that protects and repairs your muscles while you sleep. Let's start with the medical fact. When you consume sugar, your body releases insulin to bring blood glucose levels under control. That's normal. But when sugar is eaten right before bed, insulin levels remain elevated during the early hours of sleep. And those early hours are when your body relies on growth hormone, a powerful signal that tells your body to repair muscles, restore bone strength, and burn fat. Unfortunately, insulin and growth hormone are opposites. When insulin is high, growth hormone is suppressed. This means your muscles never get the full benefit of nighttime repair. Instead of waking up stronger, you wake up weaker and more depleted. I remember Mr. Garcia, age 70, who came to me complaining of nightly muscle cramps and morning weakness in his arms and legs. He thought he was simply dehydrated, but as we went through his evening routine, a pattern emerged. Every night before bed, he treated himself to a bowl of vanilla ice cream. It was a tradition he'd started with his late wife, and he held on to it for comfort. The habit seemed small, but it carried big consequences. His blood sugar was spiking, his insulin was surging, and his muscles were being robbed of their nightly recovery. Once he replaced the ice cream with a small handful of nuts and berries earlier in the evening, the results were remarkable. Within weeks, his cramps diminished, and he reported feeling more stable when climbing stairs. This isn't just anecdotal. Research shows that seniors who consume sugar late at night are more likely to suffer from insulin resistance, which accelerates muscle loss and increases the risk of type 2 diabetes. But here's the lesser-known fact: high sugar intake before bed also suppresses melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep cycles. So not only are your muscles under-repaired, but you also sleep less deeply. Without restorative sleep, your body struggles to produce the hormones that protect your muscles in the first place. It's a vicious cycle that feeds on itself. Consider the story of Mrs. Evans, age 76. She told me she felt tired every morning with heavy legs and low energy. "Doctor, I thought it was just aging," she said. But when I asked about her nighttime habits, she admitted she often enjoyed a glass of sweetened iced tea and 2 or 3 cookies before bed. She said it calmed her nerves. What she didn't realize was that the sugar rush was preventing her from entering deep restorative sleep. Her muscles were deprived of both hormonal repair and proper rest. After gradually cutting back and replacing her sweet snacks with calming herbal tea and a light protein option, she felt a dramatic difference. For the first time in years, she said, "I wake up and actually feel rested." Now let me ask you directly, how many nights in the past month have you reached for something sweet right before bed? Even if it seems harmless every time you do it, you are stealing strength from your muscles. Sugar is like a thief in the night. It sneaks in quietly, disrupts your hormones, and leaves you weaker in the morning. This is why I urge my patients and you to treat late-night sugar as a serious threat. The habit doesn't just make you gain weight, it shortens your mobility, accelerates frailty, and increases your risk of falls. And for seniors, one bad fall can change everything. If you thought sugar was harmless, you now know the truth. But sugar isn't the only nighttime culprit. Many seniors turn to another evening ritual for relaxation, one that feels comforting but quietly undermines muscle health in a very different way. That habit is the so-called nightcap. So let's talk about what really happens to your muscles when you drink alcohol before bed. For many seniors, ending the evening with a glass of wine, a small whiskey, or even a can of beer feels like a well-deserved ritual. It's called a nightcap for a reason. People believe it helps them fall asleep faster, calm their nerves, and ease stress. But what most don't realize is that alcohol before bed can quietly weaken the very muscles you depend on for stability, strength, and independence. Let's begin with the medical fact. While alcohol may make you feel drowsy, it disrupts the natural architecture of your sleep. Instead of spending long restorative periods in deep sleep, the stage when your body releases growth hormone and repairs muscle fibers, alcohol keeps you in lighter stages of sleep. This means that even though you sleep through the night, the quality of that sleep is poor. Your muscles, which rely on deep sleep to recover from daily wear and tear, are left under-repaired. For seniors already battling age-related muscle loss, this nightly disruption is devastating. Here's the lesser-known fact. Alcohol also interferes with how your body processes amino acids, the building blocks of muscle. Studies show that alcohol suppresses something called muscle protein synthesis, the exact process your body uses to rebuild and maintain muscle. So while you might think that one drink won't hurt, the truth is each nightcap compounds the problem. The more frequently it happens, the more your muscle reserves shrink, even if you're eating enough protein or staying active. I recall one of my patients, Mr. Lee, age 74. He was a retired accountant who enjoyed a glass of red wine every evening. At first, it seemed harmless. He even told me, "Doctor, I've read that wine is good for the heart." But over time, he noticed he was weaker climbing stairs and often felt unsteady getting out of bed in the mornings. When I reviewed his habits, it became clear that nightly wine wasn't just relaxing him, it was silently preventing his muscles from repairing during sleep. Once he reduced his alcohol intake to only an occasional glass and stopped drinking before bed, the difference was striking. Within weeks, his legs felt stronger and his energy in the mornings improved. Another patient, Mrs. Daniels, age 70, believed that a shot of whiskey each night helped her sleep through the night. But what she didn't realize was that her muscles were growing weaker and she was experiencing more frequent nighttime leg cramps. These cramps weren't just a nuisance, they were a warning sign that her muscles were not getting the repair they needed. When she eliminated her nightly whiskey and focused instead on hydration and light stretching before bed, her cramps subsided and her strength gradually returned. She admitted, "I thought I was helping myself sleep, but I was actually robbing my body." Alcohol also worsens dehydration, which compounds muscle problems. Dehydrated muscles are more prone to cramping, stiffness, and even injury. Combine this with the natural loss of water content in the body as we age, and you can see why seniors who consume alcohol at night often feel weak and sore the next morning. Now let me ask you, how many nights this month have you had a drink before bed? You may think it's helping you, but in reality, each sip chips away at your body's ability to stay strong. It doesn't matter if it's wine, beer, or whiskey, the outcome is the same. Weak muscles, poor balance, and a greater risk of falls. And here's the bigger danger: falls are not just accidents. For seniors, one fall can lead to hospitalization, loss of independence, and a permanent decline in quality of life. When you consider that alcohol not only weakens muscles but also impairs balance, it becomes clear that this harmless habit is anything but harmless. If the thought of alcohol undermining your muscles shocks you, wait until you hear about another nighttime danger that seems even more innocent: sitting still for hours in the evening. Because while you may think that resting in your favorite chair is good for you, the truth is that long periods of sedentary evenings quietly choke off your muscles' oxygen supply, making them weaker by morning. After a long day, it feels natural to settle into a comfortable chair, turn on the television, or scroll through your phone before bed. Many seniors look forward to these quiet hours of rest. But what if I told you that sitting still for hours in the evening can quietly starve your muscles of oxygen and accelerate their decline overnight? It sounds dramatic, but for seniors, this habit can be just as harmful as poor diet or alcohol when it comes to muscle health. Let's start with the mainstream medical fact. As we age, circulation naturally slows down. Blood vessels lose flexibility, the heart pumps less efficiently, and muscles don't receive the same oxygen-rich blood they did in younger years. This reduced circulation is one of the reasons why seniors often feel colder, recover more slowly, or notice swelling in their legs. Now imagine sitting completely still for 2, 3, or even 4 hours before bed. That sluggish circulation gets even worse. Muscles deprived of oxygen and nutrients can't repair themselves properly overnight. Here's the lesser-known detail. Long periods of inactivity also increase levels of an enzyme called myostatin. Myostatin acts like a brake on muscle growth. The more inactive you are, the more this brake is applied. So even if you eat protein and try to exercise the next day, your muscles respond more weakly. By sitting still in the evening, you're unknowingly turning on the very mechanism that tells your body to shrink rather than strengthen muscle. One of my patients, Mr. Peterson, age 71, experienced this firsthand. He was in fairly good health, but admitted that every evening he sat in his recliner for hours watching old television shows. By the time he went to bed, he had hardly moved since dinner. Over time, he noticed his legs felt heavier, his knees ached more, and his balance worsened. At first, he blamed arthritis, but the truth was his sedentary evenings were compounding age-related circulation problems and starving his muscles. When I encouraged him to stand, stretch, or walk around the house every 30 minutes in the evening, the difference was dramatic. Within weeks, he reported less stiffness and greater confidence when walking. Another case was Mrs. Howard, 75, who enjoyed knitting for hours each night. It brought her peace, but it also kept her completely motionless for long stretches. She confessed that her legs often cramped at night and felt weak in the mornings. After incorporating simple chair exercises and short walks during her evening routine, her muscle cramps decreased and she regained some of the vitality she thought she had lost forever. She told me, "Doctor, I didn't realize my stillness was hurting me." Think of your muscles like sponges. They need constant circulation to stay nourished and flexible. When you sit too long, circulation slows and toxins build up in your muscles. Instead of waking refreshed, you wake stiff, sore, and weaker. Worse still, prolonged sedentary evenings raise your risk of dangerous blood clots, a threat that increases with age. So let me ask you, how many hours did you spend sitting still last night before going to bed? Did you move around, stretch, or take a short walk after dinner? Or did you sink into your chair and stay there until it was time to sleep? The answer to that question may explain why your muscles feel weaker than they should. The solution doesn't require intense exercise. Even small movements, standing up, stretching, pacing around the living room, or doing light leg lifts in a chair, keep blood flowing and muscles nourished. These simple actions prepare your body for the repair process that happens overnight. Without them, your muscles enter sleep deprived of oxygen and wake up in decline. If the dangers of sitting for hours surprised you, wait until you hear about another bedtime habit that many seniors believe is helpful but can actually work against them. It's something your parents may have recommended and that you may even rely on for sleep comfort: a warm glass of milk before bed. But is this classic advice really as harmless as it seems? For generations, seniors have been told that drinking a warm glass of milk before bed is the perfect way to relax and fall asleep. It's a tradition passed down from parents to children, a symbol of comfort and care. Many people still believe that warm milk is a natural sleep aid. And while it may feel soothing, the truth is that for seniors, this habit can actually interfere with digestion, disrupt calcium balance, and indirectly weaken muscles. Let's begin with the mainstream medical fact. As we age, our digestive system slows. Lactose, the natural sugar in milk, becomes harder to process. Many older adults develop some degree of lactose intolerance without even realizing it. This doesn't always show up as severe stomach upset. Sometimes it appears as subtle bloating, cramping, or disturbed sleep. Instead of calming the body, that warm glass of milk may leave your digestive system working overtime when it should be resting. That late-night digestive effort steals energy from the body's real priority at night, repairing and maintaining muscle tissue. Here's the lesser-known detail. Dairy, when consumed at night, can disrupt calcium and magnesium balance in the body. These two minerals are vital for muscle contraction and relaxation. An imbalance can lead to nighttime leg cramps, muscle twitches, or even restless sleep. For seniors who already struggle with cramping or weakness, this imbalance can make mornings even more difficult. In some cases, excess nighttime dairy intake has been linked to higher inflammation markers, which further accelerate muscle breakdown. I remember Mrs. Collins, a 73-year-old patient, who came to me complaining of nightly calf cramps and poor sleep. She had followed the habit of drinking warm milk for decades, believing it was healthy. "Doctor, I thought I was doing something good for myself," she told me. But after reviewing her routine, it became clear that the milk was a hidden trigger. She was mildly lactose intolerant, which caused subtle digestive distress and mineral imbalance at night. Once she replaced her bedtime milk with a cup of herbal chamomile tea, her cramps decreased dramatically and her sleep quality improved within weeks. She later said, "I can't believe the very thing I thought was helping me was actually hurting me." Another patient, Mr. Foster, age 70, used milk at night to fight insomnia. Yet he often woke up groggy and weak with sore muscles in the morning. Tests showed that his digestion was being disrupted, leading to incomplete absorption of key nutrients he needed for muscle health. By eliminating his nightly milk and focusing on earlier protein intake, he not only slept more soundly, but also regained some of the strength he thought he had permanently lost. It's important to understand that milk itself is not inherently bad. It's the timing and the way the aging body responds to it. During the day, milk can be part of a healthy, protein-rich diet that supports muscles. But at night, especially right before bed, it shifts your body into digestion mode instead of repair mode. And for seniors, those nighttime hours are the most valuable for healing. So let me ask you, how often have you poured yourself a warm glass of milk before bed, thinking it was a harmless or even beneficial ritual? If this is part of your routine, it may explain those nighttime cramps, restless legs, or morning weakness you've been feeling. The solution isn't to abandon milk altogether, but to adjust timing. If you enjoy dairy, have it earlier in the day when your body can process it more efficiently. And if you're looking for a true sleep aid, switch to calming herbal teas or a light protein-based snack that supports rather than sabotages muscle repair. If the warm milk myth surprised you, then brace yourself, because another seemingly small bedtime choice has even more damaging effects. It's something hiding in plain sight in foods you may eat daily: hidden salt at night. Salt is one of those ingredients we barely think about. It's sprinkled on nearly every meal, hidden in countless packaged foods, and often added without hesitation. Most seniors know that too much salt can raise blood pressure, but very few realize the hidden damage salt does at night. Eating salty foods in the evening, whether it's a bowl of chips, canned soup, or even a salted piece of cheese, can quietly sabotage your muscles while you sleep. Here's the mainstream medical fact: sodium draws water into the bloodstream. When you eat salty foods at night, your body retains water, which raises blood pressure and forces your kidneys to work harder while you sleep. Instead of resting, your system is occupied with balancing excess sodium. For seniors whose kidneys naturally lose efficiency with age, this nighttime strain can be especially damaging. The result: disturbed sleep, increased nighttime urination, and reduced energy for muscle repair. Now here's the lesser-known detail: too much salt also disrupts the delicate balance of electrolytes: sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. Your muscles depend on these minerals to contract and relax properly. When the balance tips towards sodium, your muscles lose the ability to recover fully. This is why many seniors who eat salty snacks before bed wake up with cramps, stiffness, or a heavy swollen feeling in their legs. Over time, these repeated nightly imbalances contribute to muscle weakening, slower recovery, and even greater risk of falls. I recall Mr. Bennett, a 72-year-old retired mechanic who came to me complaining of severe morning cramps. He assumed it was dehydration, but after reviewing his diet, we discovered his nightly habit: a bag of salted peanuts and a few crackers before bed. The salt was drawing water away from his muscles, leaving them tense and prone to cramps. Once he cut back on salty snacks and switched to unsalted nuts earlier in the day, his cramps decreased dramatically. He later told me, "Doctor, I didn't realize something so small was making my mornings miserable." Another case was Mrs. Newen, age 69, who loved canned soups for dinner because they were easy to prepare. Unfortunately, most canned soups contain very high sodium levels. She noticed swelling in her ankles every morning and felt weaker walking down her front steps. After we reviewed her habits, she began making fresh vegetable soups with herbs instead of salt. Within weeks, her swelling reduced, her muscles felt less fatigued, and she regained confidence in her mobility. The problem is not just swelling or cramps. High sodium intake before bed also increases the risk of high nighttime blood pressure, which has been linked to reduced deep sleep. And without deep sleep, your muscles miss their critical window for repair and growth. What seems like a simple bowl of soup or a handful of salty crackers can have cascading effects on your entire system. So let me ask you, how many times in the past week have you eaten something salty within 2 hours of bed? Chips, cheese, pickles, instant noodles, or processed meats. Each time, you've likely set yourself up for dehydration, cramps, and weaker muscles in the morning. The solution is simple but powerful. If you enjoy savory snacks, choose low-sodium or salt-free options. Focus on foods rich in potassium like bananas or leafy greens, which counterbalance sodium and support muscle recovery. And most importantly, avoid heavy salty meals or snacks in the evening. Your muscles will thank you in the morning. If hidden salt at night sounds concerning, wait until you learn about another hidden culprit, one that sneaks into your body without you realizing it. It's not salty, but it's just as disruptive: caffeine in disguise. Caffeine is a word we all know. Most people associate it with coffee, and many seniors proudly say, "Oh, I never drink coffee at night." But what most don't realize is that caffeine hides in far more places than just your morning cup. Chocolate, certain teas, sodas, and even over-the-counter medications can contain enough caffeine to disrupt sleep. And when sleep is disrupted, your muscles pay the price. Here's the mainstream medical fact: deep sleep is the stage where the body repairs tissues, balances hormones, and rebuilds muscle fibers. Caffeine, even in small doses, delays the onset of deep sleep and shortens the total amount you get. This means your muscles don't have the time or resources to fully recover. For seniors who already face shorter and more fragmented sleep due to aging, this effect is magnified. Now for the lesser-known detail: caffeine not only keeps you awake, it also interferes with calcium regulation in your muscles. Calcium is the mineral that allows muscles to contract and relax. Too much caffeine increases calcium loss through urine, slowly depleting your body's reserves. Over time, this can contribute to cramping, weakness, and even bone fragility. So while you might think an evening cup of tea is harmless, the hidden caffeine could be quietly draining your muscles. Let me share the story of Mrs. Richardson, age 71. She came to me with concerns about restless sleep and morning fatigue. She swore she didn't drink coffee after lunch, but when I asked about other beverages, she admitted she had 2 cups of herbal tea each night. We later discovered her favorite blend actually contained black tea high in caffeine. Once she switched to true caffeine-free herbal teas, her sleep improved and she noticed her legs felt stronger in the mornings. She told me, "Doctor, I had no idea my tea was stealing my rest." Another patient, Mr. Alvarez, age 68, often complained of early morning cramps and weakness in his calves. He wasn't a coffee drinker either, but he loved dark chocolate before bed. What he didn't realize is that dark chocolate contains significant amounts of caffeine and theobromine, both stimulants that interfere with sleep and muscle recovery. After cutting back, his cramps became less frequent and he regained some of the energy he thought was lost to aging. Even medications can be culprits. Over-the-counter pain relievers, weight loss supplements, and even some cold medicines often contain caffeine to boost effectiveness. Seniors who take these at night may unknowingly sacrifice their muscle health for a temporary fix. So let me ask you, how many evenings in the past month did you have tea, chocolate, or a harmless soda before bed? Did you check the labels of your nighttime medicines? If not, there's a good chance caffeine is sneaking into your system at the very time your body needs to power down and repair. The solution isn't complicated. Stick to caffeine-free herbal teas in the evening, avoid chocolate close to bedtime, and carefully check medication labels. Protecting your muscles often means protecting your sleep, and caffeine is one of the biggest hidden threats to both. If you thought caffeine was surprising, wait until you hear about another modern nighttime enemy that doesn't come from food or drink at all. It comes from the very devices many seniors use before bed: televisions, tablets, and smartphones. The blue light from these screens silently suppresses melatonin, delaying sleep and robbing your muscles of the deep restoration they desperately need. In today's world, many seniors end their evenings just like younger generations do, sitting in front of the television, scrolling on a tablet, or checking messages on a smartphone. It feels harmless, even comforting. But what if I told you that the soft blue glow from those screens is silently robbing your muscles of the very restoration they depend on each night? Here's the mainstream medical fact: your body runs on a natural clock called the circadian rhythm. When the sun sets and darkness falls, your brain releases melatonin, the hormone that signals it's time to sleep. Melatonin doesn't just help you fall asleep, it ensures you cycle into deep, restorative sleep where muscle repair occurs. The problem is that the blue light emitted by screens mimics daylight. This tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime, delaying melatonin release. The result: you fall asleep later, sleep less deeply, and your muscles lose precious hours of repair. Now here's the lesser-known detail. Delayed melatonin release doesn't just impact sleep. Melatonin also acts as a powerful antioxidant that protects muscle cells from damage. Lower melatonin levels mean higher oxidative stress, which accelerates muscle breakdown over time. So when you scroll through your phone at night, you aren't just staying up later, you're creating a biochemical environment that makes your muscles weaker. One of my patients, Mrs. Harper, age 72, came to me exhausted. She said, "Doctor, I sleep for 7 hours, but I wake up feeling like I haven't slept at all. My legs are heavy every morning." When I asked about her evening habits, she admitted she often watched television in bed until midnight. The bright screen was delaying her melatonin release, cutting her deep sleep short. After creating a rule of no screens 1 hour before bed and replacing her TV habit with reading a paperback novel under soft, warm light, she reported a huge improvement. "I didn't know my TV was stealing my strength," she said. Another case was Mr. Kim, 70, who often used his tablet at night to read the news. He noticed his muscle weakness was getting worse and he often stumbled in the mornings. What he didn't realize was that the screen's blue light was not only delaying his sleep, but also reducing melatonin's antioxidant protection. When he switched to a printed newspaper in the evening and used amber-colored reading glasses to block blue light from indoor bulbs, his sleep improved and his morning stability returned. Think of melatonin as both a sleep signal and a muscle shield. Without it, your body struggles to enter deep sleep and protect itself from oxidative damage. And every night you stare into a glowing screen, you lower this shield just when your muscles need it most. So let me ask you, do you fall asleep with the TV still on or check your phone one last time in bed? If so, you may be unknowingly weakening your muscles night after night. The solution is straightforward but life-changing. Turn off screens at least an hour before bed. If you must use them, apply a blue light filter or wear amber glasses. Replace nighttime screen time with calming activities, gentle stretching, quiet conversation, or reading under warm, soft light. These habits support melatonin release, deepen your sleep, and give your muscles the full recovery they deserve. Now we've covered late meals, sugar, alcohol, sitting still warm, milk, salt, caffeine, and screen glow. But before we close, we must tie it all together, because avoiding harmful habits is only half the story. To truly protect your muscles, you need a safe, reliable nighttime routine that supports strength and vitality. Let's finish by walking through exactly how to create a bedtime routine that restores your body instead of weakening it. We've now uncovered a series of nighttime habits that quietly erode your muscle strength: late meals, sugary snacks, alcohol, hours of sitting still. Even traditions like warm milk, hidden salt, caffeine, and the glow of screens. Each of these alone might not seem catastrophic, but together they form a powerful cycle that steals away the strength you need to stay mobile, independent, and confident as you age. The good news: you have far more control than you realize. By making a few safe, intentional changes to your evening routine, you can protect your muscles and wake each morning with more energy and stability. Let's begin with the big picture. Aging does bring natural changes. After age 60, most people lose muscle at a faster rate, but the speed of that decline is not set in stone. The choices you make each evening either accelerate the loss or slow it dramatically. Think of your body as a team working overnight. Hormones, nutrients, and muscle fibers are all poised to repair themselves while you sleep. But when you sabotage the process with late food sugar or light exposure, you're sending that team home early. When you protect the process, you're allowing them to do their best work. Now here's the reassuring part. Building a safer nighttime routine doesn't mean giving up comfort. It means replacing harmful rituals with alternatives that both soothe your mind and strengthen your body. Let me give you 5 examples. 1. Herbal teas instead of milk or alcohol. Chamomile, valerian root, or lemon balm teas calm your nervous system without disrupting muscle repair. Unlike warm milk, they won't strain digestion, and unlike alcohol, they won't steal deep sleep. 2. Light protein-based snacks instead of sugar or salt. If you truly need something before bed, a small piece of turkey Greek yogurt or a handful of unsalted nuts provides amino acids your muscles can use overnight. Pairing these with healthy fats like a slice of avocado helps stabilize blood sugar so your repair cycle isn't interrupted. 3. Movement breaks instead of hours of sitting still. Even gentle activities like stretching, walking around the house, or doing seated leg lifts every 30 minutes in the evening keep circulation flowing. This primes your muscles for recovery once you lie down to sleep. 4. Darkness and calm instead of glowing screens. Replace late-night television or scrolling with a paperback book, journaling, or quiet conversation. If you must use a device, apply a blue light filter or amber glasses. This protects melatonin, the hormone that both deepens sleep and shields your muscle cells from oxidative damage. 5. Mindful timing instead of late meals. Finish dinner at least 3 hours before bedtime and avoid heavy carbohydrate-rich foods in the evening. This ensures your body enters sleep focused on repair, not digestion. When my patient Mrs. Turner followed these simple changes, she described waking with stronger legs and less fear of falling. "Doctor, I feel like I've added years of strength back to my life," she said. Mr. Lee, who once thought his nightly wine was harmless, found his morning stability improved when he replaced alcohol with tea and added gentle stretches before bed. These are not dramatic medical interventions. They are small shifts that align your body with the natural rhythm of recovery. So let me ask you one final question tonight. When you prepare for bed, will you repeat the same routines that drain your muscles, or will you choose habits that restore them? The decision is in your hands. Every evening offers a fresh chance to protect your independence and vitality. Before we close, let me reassure you it's never too late to change. Even if you've practiced harmful habits for years, your body can respond quickly once you remove the barriers to healing. Within weeks, many seniors notice more energy in the mornings, less stiffness, and greater strength. Knowledge is your most powerful tool, and now you know the truth about how nighttime choices affect your muscles. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so more seniors can discover how small changes protect their strength and independence. Remember this, you are not powerless against muscle loss. By protecting your evenings, you protect your mornings, and by guarding your habits, you guard your future.